Hello there everybody to the sixth challenge of the Workout Wednesdays for CRM Analytics. So, what are we looking at this week? Timeline stacked bars. The title gives it all away. We're talking about a timeline. So as you can see at the x-axis, we see the names of the respective month. And on the y-axis, we see a stacked bar. The stacked bar contains two things. As the color gives away, the darkish blue is the total revenue and the grayish color is the granted discount. Where are the tricks this time? We see on the top right we have a filter where our end user can toggle between multiple years. It looks like a single select. And on the top left, we see a dynamic title showing us respectively the revenue and the discount. But as with all the dashboards, we first will need a data set. So if we have a look at the requirements, we see as a very first step, create a data set out of your dev org with opportunity, opportunity line item, and product. He wants us to only include the one opportunities, and he wants us to structure our data so we can build the following dashboard. That might be that we need to make a derived field with the string label of the month, but I'm not so sure. We'll see how far we can get without doing that. Usually it's easier to remove all fields you don't need, but that's up to you. I won't bother removing them, I'll just work with everything. Alright, let's go to CRM Analytics. Here we are. First thing we need to do is go to our data manager, not model manager, and we will be building a recipe. So if you want to build a recipe, you go to the left to recipes, then you go to the top right and create a new recipe. For the name of my recipe, I am going to grab the title of this week's challenge. I'm already gonna save it. I'm gonna give it the recipe name and hit save. So the first thing we will do is go to the top left and search for opportunity. There it is. But I'm gonna take the original one, and hit next. Then we need the opportunity line item. We go to the top left again, maybe type in line. Then we see the second opportunity line item. We add it. Then our last data set, product 2. Gonna grab it, type in product 2, just the full name, and there we go. First thing we need to do is do a join between opportunity and opportunity line item. We can do that by dragging this node and then specifying the IDs. At first sight, it looks good, but I'm gonna make it a left join. Then we grab product 2, drag it to join, set it to left join, and you see it already recognizes the product IDs. That's great. Click apply. Then, as they mentioned, include only one opportunities, so we can add a filter based on the column 1. We're gonna keep the true ones, and that's it. We have our data set. Might be we're coming back to generate the field we need. For example, what do I mean? Maybe let's already do it. I'm going to parse out in a transform node the month of the close date. So I'm going to click the close date. Then I'm going to extract. We're going to extract the month. We want to show that result in a new column, and we're going to hit apply. If everything went well, we now have a label here. But now we only have numerics. So what we can do is create a case statement on the extracted month. I made a little example here. So what you would like to do is maybe do this one time, store it somewhere so you can reuse it. And this is my final flow. I want to point out there are most of the time multiple ways to get to your solution. I first overcomplicated things a little bit because I remembered that making a stacked bar chart with multiple measures isn't possible, so I originally made the choice to first make a column called measure values, then put all my list price in there, then also make a measure names column and call it total revenue, then do it a second time for the discount, and then union them. Why would you do so? Well, unioning your data set in this way makes it a bit easier to make the stacked bar charts. But when I reflected on it, I thought it was a little bit cumbersome, so I suggest an easier way is just to make sure that you have all your calculated fields, and I will call it method 1, whereas unioning the revenue and the discount will be considered method number 2. Now, whatever method you choose or find the most intuitive to do, there are a few other fields you need to calculate in order to complete the dashboard. We saw making the month, which isn't more than parsing out the month value out of the date. Then secondly, the case we just did, but then more importantly, the discount field. It's not straight away available, but it is the subtraction between the list price and the unit price. So what the official price of the item is and for what it actually got sold. So if you subtract these two, you know what the discount for the item was. Then last but not least, I did a rename of the list price column, because it's not that easy to rename unless you start fiddling with the code, and then your widget becomes you cannot edit the widget anymore. So all the names, I prefer to put them in the flow. So as you can see here, I did nothing more than just grab list price and rename it to total revenue. And then last but certainly not least, as we will see in the solution, there is this single select year filter, and it helps to have your year value as a string pre-calculated in your data set. So in this transform node, we extract the year based on the closed date. So here you see 2022, that's the year parsed out of the, where is it, close date we find here. All right, here we are with solution I call method 1. Method 1 means just not union your data set, just modeling the objects and going for it straight away. Let me hit the plus sign and let's call it example, because I'm going to show you how to build the actual dashboard. First of all, I close the spacings. I'm going to open up a little bit and then we'll start with the start. First of all, we need to have a bar chart, a stacked bar chart containing both our revenue and our granted discount. So we're gonna start with that one. I'm going to the top left, grab the widget, make it a little bit bigger and click on it. We are going to make a combo chart. There you go. And on our y-axis, we want to have the granted discount and the total revenue. Now notice I have a bar and a dot, but we're going to go against that. So I navigate to the right side to the layout settings and I find series. So when I click on customize series, this allows me to convert the total revenue, which is currently expressed as a dot, to convert it to a bar. So far, so good. Now, the next thing we want to do is that these two bars get stacked. Under the option of combo chart, we can choose to click stack bar charts. Apparently not just yet, but I'm gonna add on the x-axis the month first, and then I think I will be able, okay, I need to first put them on the same axis and then I can stack them. Here we go. In the example, we first have the revenue, so we're going to switch that around so it comes at the bottom, and boom. Now I say boom, but we're not there yet. You see April, August, December. Probably you'll get into trouble by trying to sort these because it will sort it based on their string value, which isn't very helpful. So thank God we still have our numeric representation of the month, which we actually can sort ascending. So I need to clear the sort here, which results in the fact that you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My months nicely sort from January to February as we are used to. Now to get rid of these numbers, we can click close extract date and hide it. And there we go. Good. Graph 1 has been accomplished. Now for the second graph, let's start again. I'm gonna grab a widget. I'm gonna click on the widget. I'm gonna say I'm gonna do something with the revenue. I'm gonna do something with the discount, and they are now nicely side by side. But by going to the right side, clicking bar chart, I can tell them I want to have them on a single axis. Revenue should be at the bottom, so I'm gonna drag this one down, then nicely change positions, and there we are. I'm gonna space it a little bit. There we go. So I'm gonna give it some space. We don't have text labels, and I'm not sure whether it's possible, so I'm not gonna over-engineer it. I'm just gonna do it the easy way. I'm not gonna grab an empty text widget. Gonna add this one here. Gonna give it the name total revenue. All right, so far so good. Few things we're missing. When we have a look, we have this title, total revenue versus discount. So I'm gonna put that one on. Total revenue vs discount. The font is rather big, so I think that's 42, something like that. Doesn't matter if it's a little bit off. Now for the dynamic title, I prefer to do it in another text object because, as you can see, the editor isn't so user-friendly. So I'm gonna grab the ABC from the left side, gonna click on it, and I'm going to type revenue, double point. Then we want to insert a number. That number can be inserted via clicking add query data, select query, and there probably is a, yeah, there you have it. You have widgets where you have the fields. So I can select sum of revenue, shortened number. I'm gonna click done. It doesn't always arrive where you want it to be, so just Ctrl Z, grab it and paste it on the location where you want to see it. There you go. We have our revenue. Next, we need a vertical dash. Let me just quickly steal it from here. I don't know how to type the symbol on my current keyboard. Then I'm gonna type discount, and I'm gonna insert the discount amount. Same trick, add query data, select query, lens 4 in my case, and then I can insert it. I want to, of course, shorten the number as well, but then again, I need to put it in the right location behind the double points. Maybe put this nice. Yeah, we're getting somewhere, hooray. So I took the moment to put on the filter, and as we can see, we now nicely can toggle between 21 and 2022. With the only two tricks left is to make sure that your title becomes dynamic How do you do that? It's the same trick again. Just open the brackets, then add query data, insert your year column, and your title will become dynamic. And then the last part I didn't bother you guys with was making sure that the right colors were attributed to the bar charts. I always put the RGB codes somewhere in a text object so I have them at my availability. Sorry that I didn't lay out the dynamic title in the end, but you get the idea, and this should get you started in recreating all of this. Okay, I think I still need to explain what I meant with method number 2. Now the thing you need to know is I'm somebody who comes from Tableau. In Tableau you have this thing called measure names and measure values, which allow a user to very quickly stack a lot of values without too much hassle. Like we saw that it's possible with the combo chart. I also did it in another way. The second method involves transforming your data set a little bit. So we come from a structure where our data is structured like this to a situation, and that's why I do the union, where I created a union between the two data sets where you would get something like this. So you would revenue, then your values, and then a column called measure values, and then union them a second time. Well, the union it once. So the union actually makes sure that you get measure names field, which you can use to do the bar split, and that you don't need to select two measures, but you can just work with measure values. Now on the bars I can select measure names. On the bar length I can put my measure values. When I now select stacked bar chart, and yeah, for completeness I can add month there. You see, I did not need a combo chart to make this. I can just make use of the default stacked bar chart to get where I want to be. Isn't that wonderful? Alright guys, see you next week. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time with the next challenge for CRM Analytics and Workout Wednesday. Bye bye.